Hey guys, and welcome back to the step of foundation. I'm going to jump right in and show you different ways that you can apply your foundation. There are some people who like to dot it all over their face as I'm demonstrating here. I don't really see too much of a difference between that and just smearing it on the cheek as I usually do, as you can see here. It gives me the same outcome. I've noticed different outcomes according to what tools I'm using to spread the foundation on my face. So if I use a sponge versus a brush versus my hands, all of them give different outcomes. The brush gives me the outcome that I prefer to have for my face and the finish that I like. This foundation here that I'm using is by Charlotte Tilbury, and it's her line called Beautiful Skin. And it really is beautiful. As you can see, when you first see it go onto my skin, it was a little light, but it does something called oxidize. And that's when it starts to blend in and it starts to melt into your skin and it matches your skin tone. So that's why it's really important. If you do go foundation shopping, go inside of the store. Get somebody who works there. If you go to a Sephora, if you go to an Ulta, have them put some foundation on your cheek. Go into the sunlight and give it a few minutes. Go to a window, go outside, and check and see how the foundation oxidizes. Depending upon the oxidation is how you'll be able to determine if it's a good match. Now, I'm showing you the example of how if the foundation, if it's dotted on your face, it gives you the same exact finish, just so you can see with your own eyes. I'm using the same brush, but I have a different way that I've laid the foundation on my face. Now, once you've picked out your foundation, you do want to keep in mind of what outcome you want. I prefer a foundation that is a mixture of a little bit of matte finish to where there's no shine, but I also like a little bit of a luminous finish to where it gives me this look here. Now, I'm still blending it in, but I don't want it to look too matte and I don't want to look too shiny because I don't want to look like the Tin Man, but I do want it to look like it's my natural skin. And that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Now, if you were using a brush, sometimes I feel like the brush saves money because it's just moving the product around versus a sponge sucks the product into the sponge. The sponge is going to require you to do more of a stamping motion, which gives a beautiful finish, but you do use more product. So I feel like I waste more money because when I look at my sponges, a lot of times, a lot of the product is in the sponge instead of on my face. So even though it gives me a great finish, I'm spending more money in the long run. So I just like to move it around the way I choose to move it around with my brush. I like to get around my eyes. I like to go down the sides of my face. I like to make sure I get around the temple area. I like to make sure I take it down my neck and under my chin because those are the hidden areas. A lot of times to us when we're looking in the mirror, but other people, when we're moving around and going about our day, we are visible in areas that we don't always see ourselves. So we don't want to look like we're wearing a mask. We want it to look like we have completely finished our face and foundation perfectly.